wildfires ravaged their island, that number nearly tripled. And when the fires were at their worst, only 9 dispatchers were taking calls. Against near insurmountable odds, those 9 heroes answered those thousands of calls, got police, firefighters, and paramedics to the scene, and kept so many Maui residents safe. Following the disaster, a Maui County Council member said, "It's a special kind of person who can take those calls in." I couldn't agree more. And it's long past time our 911 professionals got the treatment and equipment that they deserve. The way I see it, we need to do 2 main things if we want to bring our country's 911 system into the 21st century.
Here is rather long and extensive, so relax, have another break. Actually, I'm just here to recognize the incredible contribution of this center in dealing with a horrific event that occurred, as we already heard, August 8th. I also wanted to recognize that Senator Hirono came by earlier to thank the awardees for their service and commitment to the communities in Maui. So again, congratulations. Now, as you know, I'm Brian Fonts. This is Steve Raucher from Rapid Deploy, and Rapid Deploy is a co-sponsor, or he's a co-founder of Rapid Deploy.
As Brian said, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Rapid Deploy. I've been coming to this event since 2018. My first event, I've never missed one, and I'm very honored to be amongst all of you here today, and I'm especially honored to honor my good friends of Maui County 911. I know that Rapid Deploy played a very tiny part in that, but it gives me so much pride to be part of the story I'm going to tell today, and honor you all. Mahalo. Maui experienced one of the worst wildfires to occur in the United States in over 100 years. Maui County received over 4,500 calls from community members as wildfires burned, almost 3 times the amount their call center typically gets on an average day. Despite the weight of not knowing whether their own family members were out of harm's way, Maui County telecommunicators worked tirelessly to answer calls and guide their community to safety. The stories of selflessness and heroism during the wildfires are too many to count. One telecommunicator on maternity leave left her baby with her family to come into the call center and assist with call taking. Former telecommunicators who had taken other jobs in the county returned to the call center during the crisis to help. Dispatchers worked 12, 16, and even 20-hour days to ensure their community members were able to receive the much-needed assistance. Undoubtedly, the work that the Maui County Call Center undertook during these crucial hours saved countless lives. And we know how difficult these moments were for the call takers and for the memory of that day that stays with these heroes. And I think it's even more poignant than knowing what a small and tight community Maui County is, that I'm sure almost every call, somebody knew somebody on the other end of that line, and I can't fathom what that must have been like for the sense of grief and desperation in the call center while you were processing and maintaining your professionalism, and absolutely salute you. Here to accept the award tonight is Assistant Chief Keola Tom, Supervising Emergency Services Dispatcher Melia Johnson, and my good friend Emergency Services Dispatch Coordinator Davlin Davi Rakiado. Keola, Melia, Davlin, do you want to come please up? And we'll, your story has touched so many across the nation and reminded everybody about the importance of 911 in times of crisis. But you do not have to take our word for it, because let's take a quick listen to some remarks of somebody else who's incredibly proud of your efforts, U.S. Representative from Hawaii, Jill Tokuda.
Aloha, I'm Congresswoman Jill Tokuda, representing Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District, which spans the entire Hawaiian island chain. My district includes, of course, the island of Maui, and while I cannot be there with you in person today, I know everyone is gathered tonight to recognize a very special group of people from my district. To Keola, Malia, Davilyn, and all the brave heroes of Maui 911, before I even say congratulations, I want to say mahalo. Even before the fires, you were our heroes on the front line. And especially on that fateful day, You were a lifeline to so many. I think for many of us, it really is hard to talk about what happened on August 8th, just over 6 months ago. You've heard it reported many times over. We had hurricane-driven gusts of 80 miles per hour, whipping up fires on both Maui and Hawaii Island. We lost over 6,000 acres on Maui, in Kula, Pulehukihe, and as we sadly all know, the entire town of Lahaina. When the second and most deadly fire ripped through Lahaina that day, it destroyed over 2,000 buildings and took the lives of 101 members of our ohana, ranging from age 7 to 97. 2 are still unaccounted for. Like so many of our other first responders across Maui that day, our 911 dispatchers saved lives. They did everything they could to help people get to safety, many of them themselves waiting desperately to hear from their own loved ones and family members, some of whom did not make it. They operated under incredible stress with limited information and resources, absorbing the panic and terror of every caller, helping to provide comfort and direction when possible, and getting people the help they needed. Over the span of 24 hours on August 8th, Maui 911 took over 4,500 calls, almost 3 times the numbers they get on an average day. Former dispatchers dropped by to come in. One dispatcher on maternity left her baby with her mother to be there on site so she could help. They are our heroes. They are Maui strong. They represent the very best of us and our Maui ohana. I am so proud and grateful for everything they did on that day and continue to do every day for our communities. And there is no one, in my mind, more deserving for this year's honor as Outstanding Call Center of the Year. But I know that the fires left some of the deepest scars on our hearts. Now, while we can remove the debris, repave the roads, and rebuild schools and homes, healing the pain and trauma you cannot see that is there is so much harder. Everywhere I go on Maui, in all the conversations I've had, I know that there is a mental health crisis continuing to ravage our communities. We know that our first responders are no less affected by the trauma of the past few months. In fact, oftentimes the trauma can be worse. I remember a 911 dispatcher in Hawaii explaining to me that you may be the last voice a person hears. You hear screams of fear, rage, and pain, and it sticks with you. Those calls stick with you. And on that day, our dispatchers heard this over and over and over again. That is why last November, I introduced HR 6415, the Crisis Assistance and Resources in Emergencies or CARE for First Responders Act. This bill would ensure that all of our first responders, defined to include public safety communicators, specifically all of you in the room, are eligible to receive professional counseling and other mental health services offered by FEMA during major disasters. This bill would also create a grant program to support on-site and mobile delivery of mental health and substance use disorder services for our first responders. I am grateful to my friends and colleagues on both sides of the aisle, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, Becca Ballin, and Doug LaMalfa for joining me in introducing this important bill. It shows how many of us recognize the challenges and pressures that all of you, our public safety telecommunicators, face on the front lines every single day, whether on Maui or across our great country. When things go wrong, when disaster strikes, and when we need help, we turn to all of you. You are the ones we count on to get us the help we need. You are the ones who answer the call. I want you to know that we are here for you too. I will keep fighting to ensure that all of you have the tools and the support you need to keep our community safe. To our Maui 911 community, congratulations again on this very well-deserved recognition, and mahalo for everything you are doing every single day for our ohana. Thank you to the Next Gen 911 Institute and all of you for all that you do. But most importantly tonight, thank you for honoring our heroes. Mahalo.